So what can I say about that result that hasn't already been said over the past 2 months or so? You've got to admit, this is exactly what we were all anticipating going into this match, and I have to say I was expecting it to be a bit of a heftier defeat, if I'm being brutally honest. I was anticipating at least a 3-0 win to Leicester, but on the turn of events, it's actually turned out to just be 2-0. So not a complete disaster. I was anticipating it would be, but that being said, losing 2-0 away from home against a Leicester side that are far superior to us, it's unbelievable, really. Well, it's unbelievable. I mean, we were fully expecting it, so it's not unbelievable. It's just exactly what we were anticipating would happen. So I don't know what to add. I really don't. I'm at my wits' end with Emery. I really am. I'm just amazed that he's still in a job at this point in the season, putting in these kind of performances with the players he's got at his disposal. We're such a mess. We are such a mess. Our captain isn't even getting in the squad anymore. I mean, he's been stripped of the captaincy. Now he's exiled from the squad. Going to be leaving in January. We've had our star player, Mesut Ozil, exiled at the start of the season. Now Nicolas Pepe isn't getting into the team. We're changing the system up every single week. Tell me, where's the progress? Where are things going right in this Arsenal team? Emery's coming out in the post-match conference and saying that Leicester and Chelsea are ahead of us because they've had more time to adapt. Are you mad? Are you actually insane? You've been here 18 months, mate. You can't be coming out and saying that. Whether that's down to the language barrier, he's just completely got that wrong. I've got no personal agenda against Unai Emery. I'm sure he's a lovely bloke. I'm sure he's a very hard worker, very tactically, well, I was going to say tactically inept, and I feel like that certainly is the case, but he's a guy that loves his tactics, loves his videos, loves researching data, but I feel like that isn't something that is necessarily the right fit for Arsenal Football Club, and I think he's exactly the type of manager that would thrive at a team like Southampton, Burnley, Stoke if they were still in the Premier League. He's that type of manager. I think a mid-level manager that can get those gritty sort of performances out of teams that don't necessarily have the best players at his disposal. In this instance, we've got very good players that are being utilised in all the wrong ways possible. Now, I think we've got to be realistic with some of the personnel we've got because they're definitely not at the level that a team like City or Liverpool are. But when you look at Chelsea, when they've got the likes of Tamori, Abraham, players that haven't cost any money whatsoever, and we've got players like Callum Chambers, Matteo Guendouzi, Martinelli. We've got just as talented players, in my opinion. Players that can definitely go far, that just aren't quite being utilised in the right way, and that doesn't just go for the players that didn't cost much from our point of view. It's looking at the players like Aubameyang, like Lacazette. Why are these guys playing out wide all of a sudden? Couldn't get my head around it. I think we lined up in what was a 3-4-3 yesterday, but it was more of a 5-3 something. I don't know. It was like a 5-3-2. I don't know. I honestly I couldn't make out the system whatsoever, but it definitely was very, very defensive. You could see that we had 3 centre halves, 2 full backs. It felt like a back 5 rather than a back 3. But it was, for the first half, it wasn't awful. Leicester had their chances. We also had our chances. Lacazette had a brilliant opportunity to make it 1-0, and he actually had an even better opportunity shortly after that to make it 1-0. Squandered both chances. He looks inept away from home. He looks really poor away from home. I've got to be honest there. Don't think he's helped by the system. As I say, it looked like they were both playing out wide with Mesut Ozil sort of acting as a false 9. And we've got so much attacking talent up front, and we can't score. I can't get my head around it. We've got a crap defence. We all know that. We haven't kept a clean sheet in 7 games. We're now winless in the Premier League in 4, but we've got all this talent up top. We've got one of the best strikers in world football up there. We've got one of Europe's supposedly best strikers in Lacazette. We've got a £72 million winger. We've got Mesut Ozil, one of the most creative players in history, and we can't string a couple of chances together. When you look at Leicester, brilliant move for the first goal. Torres apart for the second goal as well. Completely deserving of their win, and you can't tell me that changing things now would be in our worst interests, because you look at how Leicester changed last season, halfway through the season, brought in Brendan Rodgers using the exact same personnel, gets them playing an incredible style of football. Completely turned that team around from what someone like Claude Puel had installed at Leicester, and he's just taken them to a whole other level. And these are the same players, so you can't be telling me that someone in the mould of Rodgers couldn't come into Arsenal and do something similar. Whether that's Mikel Arteta, whether that's Freddie Ljungberg, whether that's Allegri, whether that's whoever you think it is, I'm confident they could do a much better job. Anyone could do a better job than what Emery's doing, but it has to be someone that understands the best interest of these players, what is best for Arsenal Football Club, the way we need to play. Emery does not understand that because he does. I don't think he understands what is good for these players. He can't work out a system that best suits them. We lined up in the three at the back system, as I say yesterday, and I thought we looked more defensively able. I thought Chambers looked very good. I thought David Luiz looked a lot more assured in that centre-back role, and he had a bit of licence to go forward because then we'd go to more of a back four. We'd have Holding and Chambers tucking in. Holding, I still think, looks off the pace. I don't think he's the prodigal son that I think a lot of us are hoping he will be. I think he'll come good, don't get me wrong, but still coming back from a year-long injury. The same with Bellerin, but you can see what Bellerin offers. I think he even though he looks rusty, certainly offered a lot down that right-hand side yesterday. He even came close to scoring himself. The midfield is the problem. Because you take out Granit Xhaka and you've not really got that presence in the midfield. Torreira and Guendouzi got overrun by Tielemans, by Maddison, by Ndidi. That's a proper midfield that Leicester have got. Our one is weak. It's very, very, very poor. And they're definitely not being lined up in the right way. Playing those two as a two with no real support with them, yeah, they just got overrun. And I've been all in favour of seeing Torreira and Guendouzi play, but it just didn't work out yesterday. I think it's got to be, Torreira, Xhaka, Ozil. I think that was probably our best midfield last season, but Xhaka, can't see a way for him back into this Arsenal team, I'm afraid. Whether his punishment will be he won't play until after the international break remains to be seen, but I honestly fear that he's never going to play for Arsenal again, which, some will say rightly so, but I do think we miss a presence in midfield, and I do think we do miss Granit Xhaka, because if you look at all the Arsenal teams over the past 5-6 years or so. Before Xhaka, it was Coquelin and Cazorla, which was probably the most exciting midfield pivot we've had in a long, long time. Those two performed so well alongside each other. Before that, it was Arteta and Aaron Ramsey. That was an exciting midfield pivot as well, but you always had that kind of one common denominator, that dictator of play. In this instance, it was Arteta, and then it was Cazorla when he dropped a little bit deeper as he got a little bit older. Now we don't have that. We don't have that at all, really. Guendouzi is 20 years old. It's not really fair to be, putting everything on him to dictate play. So if it's not going to be Jack, we need to go out and buy someone. But we're not going to be able to attract anyone because we're rubbish. We are rubbish. I hate to say it. We're below Sheffield United. Man United are catching up on us as well after we've all been mocking them for the start they've been having to the season. Chelsea and Leicester are 9 points ahead of us. You can forget top four with Unai Emery as manager. Not happening. Not happening. We're going to see rubbish football. We're going to finish anywhere between 8th to 12th, probably. And we're going to lose Aubameyang and Lacazette. And we're going to slowly turn into Leeds, which will always be fun. On a serious note, that shouldn't happen. The people up top shouldn't allow that to happen. But this is where the real concern lies, because it's only Unai Emery's fault to a point, and then it becomes the people above him. It becomes their problem. It becomes their fault. And the fact that Ornstein has come out and said the board are fully 100% behind him. I'm really worried about that. Really worried about that, because that's asking for trouble. That is asking for a lot of trouble. Whether that's the decision of Raul Nidu, or maybe they want to take action and they want to get rid of him, but KSE have said we're not going to let that happen. I don't know. I do feel like Josh Kroenke, Stan Kroenke are quite naive to the situation that's going on. I think they're very naive, to be honest, around what's going on at Arsenal. I love how Josh Kroenke has become more involved, and it was great over the summer where we were seeing interviews from him, and we kind of got the picture that it was him that was in charge of Arsenal rather than Stan. And I think that appeased a lot of supporters, but I still feel like there's that naivety between the Kroenkes and Arsenal Football Club. What is success? What isn't success? And as long as the money keeps ticking over in their bank account, then it's not going to be a problem, which it always will with Arsenal, because we're a massive club, loads of merchandise, loads of brand deals. If we get worse, that will lessen. Those brand deals will lessen. People won't fill the stadium as often. Food and drink sales will go down. Finances will take a hit. They'll continue to take a hit irrespective of that, because we'll keep finishing outside of the Champions League. So they will take notice of it at some point, but whether that will be soon, I'm not too sure. And if they do back Emery all the way, then I'm sorry, it's over. This season is over. It's done. I'd much rather us take a punt on someone like Freddie Ljungberg, who's going to be loved and adored by fans. He's going to be given time to do what he wants to do. He's got a fantastic run of games. If we were to sack Emery now, get Ljungberg in, he's got a nice, easy run of games to get the players playing in the way he wants to get a system installed at the club. Yeah, it would be a massive risk, but I'd rather have a risk than fail inevitably. So that's where I stand with things, and I'm completely done with Emery. I'm done with Emery, and I'm done with the board if they're not going to make a change. It's beyond ludicrous. It's so frustrating when we're all witnessing the same problems, but no one is doing anything about them. Please, just for God's sake, make the change. It is it's painful. The football is dire. The players are too good to be playing this badly. Emery's coming out and saying he's satisfied with the performances. Oh, it's a million times more frustrating than it was towards the end with Arsene Wenger. I'm telling you that. I hope we get this resolved as soon as possible. If Emery doesn't turn it around, then the club have got to be brave and make a decision. But I don't see him getting sacked. I don't see us parting ways with him. And I think a lot of this is down to principle. Massively, I think this is down to principle. I think the club don't want to be made to look foolish. I don't think they want to bring in a guy and then sack him halfway through the season, because we're not a club that does that. We're a classy club. We don't sack managers. We don't want to go through a tirade of managers like Chelsea have, like Manchester United have. We don't want to be seen that way. We want to do things in the proper way, to proper accordance, within guidelines. That's the exact type of club Arsenal is. And if that involves incurring failure, then so be it. That's exactly what I feel with Arsenal in a minute. But I don't know. I hope the club prove me wrong. I really hope they make me eat my words. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up there, guys. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments box below. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I'll speak to you very soon. See you later.